Okay, hopefully everybody already read through what chapter 10 is about. Okay, so, okay, Nina, can you see my screen? Is learning objective? Ada kan? Still lagi kan? Nina, Amira, how are you doing, Nina?
Hello, yes.
Okay. Nina, what do you see on your screen?
Learning objectives.
Okay, yes. All right, thank you. Okay, so what is leading the project team? Okay, like what I mentioned, from chapter 1 to chapter 9 is about the project body of knowledge itself, right? Basically, what are the process, what are the area body of knowledge, because some of the chapters they combine. We have 10 body of knowledge of project management, which is covered from chapter 1 until chapter 9. So for this one, all right, for these chapters is about, because we are been working in a team. It is very important for the project management, all right, to understand for those who are involved in a project later, because you have been working in a project for since you are in part 1 already, I believe, right? If those are from your diploma and also for your degree and so on. Okay, you'll be working and you work in team. And normally in a team itself, whether this is a different assignment and so on, there should be one leaders. Kadang-kadang you don't really claim that, announce that leader ke apa, tapi selalu people who become a main reference, who lead, who express, who helps to manage the task and so on. That is a leader. So especially when we talk about the project management, of course it will be a formal team, because you have a purpose, you have your own KPI, you have the measurable organizational value of the project. So every single thing will be measured, what you have worked for your project, and of course the measurement will reflect also a good fulfill objective of the project, actually reflect with the leadership of the team itself, right? So they will be a one, we can say one leaders, but the team members, of course, they are leader in their way, meaning that they are lead their own tasks. We talk about accountability, we talk about the integrity, we talk about the responsibility. Once you responsible, that will be the key to successfully managing project, right? So in order to do that, there are basic five best practices towards exemplary leadership, meaning that orang yang boleh kita contohi, the best practices which we learn today, and also 6 leadership style. This question already been asked for the previous 2 semester dalam masuk ODL. Dan sebanyakan pelajar tak boleh jawab pun. Kita bagi situation because they are quite similar. The situation is very close to each other, and then you've been given to match based on that situation what are the leadership style that is suitable. Sometimes student got confused. So you really need to understand what are the best practices and be able to differentiate between one to another, the approaches of best practices, and also be able to understand also the leadership style. The 6 leadership style which you can use based on the situation. You as a project leaders and also team members, based on the situation, it very important because different situation need a different style. Kalau salah, itu yang boleh buatkan tension. People cannot accept what you said and so on. And during that, in order to do these two, of course, this one, the emotional intelligence, I've been saying that many times. The words here, I've been talk about it from the very beginning of the semester as well. How you manage your emotional intelligently. Alright, sebab leader ni dia tak boleh emo. Dia jangan emo, dia kena professional, dia kena calm, dia kena be able to look into different perspective and try to understand each other, be empathy and be sympathy. Dua ni lain In order to do that, it will be, you yourself need to be emotionally stable. Nak jadi emotionally stable tu, kena learn, experience, learn by the environment and so on. That one we will learn about that today. And of course, the ethics will be guided, alright? And of course, you as an exemplary leadership, you kena ada etika pekerja. Etika as a human, etika as a leaders, etika as a team members and so on. But always the case, there are lots of ethical challenges, a different situation that make it difficult to know whether it is right or wrong. What are the things, what are the right things to do? Tapi yang inilah dekat kadang-kadang niat tidak menghalalkan cara. Itu that you got to be very careful. Right? So that is the ethical dilemma. Right? So, and also when it comes to the ethical, there are a different process how to make ethical decisions. Sometimes the truth is always hurts. Alright, kawan ke, kalau kawan kita dah buat salah, kita kena juga. Kalau kena, if you have a best friend who cross border of team members, for example, they involved in all those unethical things. Alright, do things that is not supposed to do, meaning that misuse of the resources of the office, all those kind need to be, what are the process in making the ethical decision. Kawan tak kawan, if it's wrong, it is wrong. Okay, that is what the bottom line is. So, and also we are talking about the work group and team. What are the difference between these two, right? And of course, if you are in a team, right? If you are in a team, you might work in a different gender. Of course, that's what I believe most of the team are mix of male and female. And also there will be a different races, different nationality. So how to understand this culture and make it blend together so we can work in harmony. So there will be some of the diversity framework that we will look into after this, right? So any questions so far? Okay, Abra, do you have any question, Abra? Abra ada soalan? Muhammad Abra? Mana you all ni semua Okay, Abra okay? Tadi saya nampak dia on. Alamak. Sekejap Hello Prof. Hello Prof. Yes. Ada kelas, tengah kelas. Okay, so, alright, so project leadership. Okay, we have a okay, in talking about the leadership, there are two things that are under our concern actually, okay? So you as a leader, first of all, you are talking about the management, okay? Meaning that you are focused on policy, what is right, what is wrong, what need to be done. You are going after the due date, okay? You check whether who already complete their task, who are not. You call, if they are doing something wrong, you can impose any disciplinary action, for example. That is management. Okay, as a leaders, of course, you need to be good in management because that is what it is, project manager. You be able to manage. That is what management is, right? This is your responsibility. And also we will have, but another thing, slightly a few miles away, a few mile steps that you need to involve in, it is leadership, which is quite different with the management. All right, not every leader need to be able to properly manage, but not all manager can be a leader. Okay, all manager need to be able to manage, but not all manager can be a leader. What it means by leader here, because it is they are centered on vision, make changes, you set direction, you align people and you motivate them. Meaning that leadership is you become the person, okay, to you develop people. Management ni dia check je dah siap belum. Tapi leadership, they see the potential of their staff, they train, they be able to give a motivation to them to become better and better. And how to become better? They share the vision of the organization. They talk more than what the day-to-day operation. Okay, they think about how to change things to become better. Right? You try to set the directions of the team, of the department, of the project. Okay, and you motivate people, you touch their heart. Okay, that is different between management and leaders. A good leaders, they combine these two. They be able to manage and they be able to lead people, right? Jadi kalau kat sini you all semua can become a leaders and also can manage things as well. Alright, so some modern approaches to leadership, even the Cousins and Posner ni is still in 2002. They conducted research for over 20 years. It was long time ago, 22, more than 20 years already. 23 years already, but still relevant. That's why I emphasizing here. Okay, so in causes, they talk about this one, models of exemplary leadership, meaning that the best practices. Okay, what are the best practices as a leader? Okay, kita bukan nak keluarkan manager je. That's why the title here, alright, title of the leading the project team. We want to lead. Kita bukan nak manage sahaja. Okay, so in order to lead people, to lead the project, okay, there are five leadership style. Okay, Haziq, Fazli, can you read for us what are these 5 leadership style? Just read this one. Haziq, Fazli. Haziq, are you there, Haziq? Haziq ada tak?
Ada, madam.
Okay, baca Haziq. Read that. These five leadership style.
Leadership practices model the way, inspire, share vision, challenge the process, enable others to act, encourage the heart.
Okay. So this is the best practices of the best practices of exemplary leadership. Yang mana kita boleh things to do. Okay. First of all, model the way, meaning that you lead by example. Most effective leaders lead by example, meaning that a leader's behavior will respect. Okay, dia orang rasa hormat, tengok dia rasa hormat because of they themselves, not because of their title, not because of the position. Even though if they no longer work as a project managers, if you see them, orang teringat lagi bekerja dengan dia. People keep talking about him, working with him. Right? So it will respect. Bukan orang takut, kita nak orang hormat. Right? So find your own voice based on your personal values and belief. Alright, but what you do is often normally effective leader dia bukan cakap je. Dia lead the example, dia buat dulu. If they said that, you said that kita kena bertanggungjawab. We have to be responsible. We have to be what we call that a responsible one, and then we have to be on time when we be called for meeting. Dia lah kena datang dulu awal. Bukan dia sebab dia boss, dia cakap awal-awal, bila orang datang lambat dia marah. Tapi dia pun datang lambat, orang tak boleh cakap apa-apa. That is not the way. Okay, he will lead by the example, right? Okay, so that is one, model the way. Okay, you yourself, right? Is become the examples, right? And also number 2, you be able to inspire a vision. Okay, exemplary leaders have an exciting vision or dream, alright? Exciting vision or dream that act as a force to ignite a passion for what the future could be. Ni contohnya, the late Steve Jobs. Dia nampak dah, dia dah mula-mula dah cakap pasal HCI. Human Computer Interaction. Dia dah cakap dah pasal screen that they got no what we call that keyboard. Yang boleh, you can touch the screen itself and you can freely play pakai ni lah yang screen punya ni kan. They are the person, he is the person who talk about how the human computer interaction, the HCI features, okay, can lead how your system, the direction of the apps, direction of the system, direction of the apps that currently being used, right? So they inspire a vision. They can see ahead from what the others are, right? So when that vision, the vision bukan vision kosong lah, meaning that they share, they are working towards it. The vision should inspire people. Vision tu bila dia share, people can also see the direction, meaning that they share with facts and figures. They are very knowledgeable person. When they share, they can imagine. They can give influence the others also. Okay, so when you talk about that, when you inspire people, actually you understand. Okay, bila bercakap dengan orang, you talk the same language. Meaning that jumpa orang yang sama, bila inspire ni, bila cakap orang a good politician. Sekarang ni kita tak ada banyak politician tak ni sangat kan. Kita cakap tak percaya je, betul tidak tadi ni cakap kan. Tapi there are other good politician who can inspire. They can talk to the different group based on their needs, interests and language. They understand their people. Alright, maybe this is quite different with the project team. Project team, normally we have the same interests, we have the same background, you are all working and so on. Maybe that is not quite difficult to talk, okay? So it's quite direct to inspire people towards the completion of the project, right? Maybe it's not that challenges. But when you talk about the vision of the organization as a whole, okay, maybe there will be lots of CEO, your top the C level CEO, CIO, Chief Investment Officer, CIO, and also all the CC level though. Okay, the top 10 people in the organization, right? So maybe it is very quite challenges for them. Okay, because they are big organization, they need to talk to a different, they have a lower level people, they have middle, they have a top and so on, right? So, but a good leader should be able to inspire and influence the others as well. And you can challenge the process, meaning that always ask them to look for new opportunity to innovate, grow and improve. Encourage people to look outside the box. Kita selalu dengar kan, think outside the box. Tapi things outside the box tiba terawang-awang pula. Kita tak mahu lah, okay. Things outside the box with a proper guideline linked to what the organization are going towards to. Alright. But normally most leaders, they do not create. They do not develop or come up with a new product or services. But normally bukan dia yang buat, dia duduk dan develop, kan? Bukan, normally no. But they are always the people. Sekejap ya. Cik Abdul Zaman, saya dalam kelas. Sorry tadi tak sempat buat angkat. Tengah dalam kelas ni. Boleh dalam 12.30 kot. Pukul 12 kena jumpa dekan. Alright. Okay, bye. Okay, so normally they are not the working level people who actually develop, who actually work on the system, but they are often a good listener who recognize good idea, support their ideas and challenge the process to make those ideas happen. Selalunya ni yang innovative people. Sebab saya to be influenced by Steve Jobs. Walaupun Steve Jobs ni kadang-kadang dia memang bluntly critic people and so on. But Steve Jobs ni because he is so smart kan. Kadang-kadang dia kritik je people lain, pekerja dia sebagainya. Tapi a good people yang memang dia work together with them, a good team, okay, normally dia encourage, okay, to come up with a good ideas different from the others, and you give resources for this idea. For example, people said that why not we do a system like this and so on, and then you think that it's good. So awak cakap kat dia, okay, give me the proposal, present to us, and ask whether how we can make sure that this is happen. Itulah you give the ideas and you support in giving the resources for the ideas to be implemented and so on. Okay, so they minimize the risk of failures. Okay, meaning that support lah. You just give a support to them. And number 4, enable others to act. When you always listen, you give support, and you give trust as well. You building trust among the project stakeholders. You encourage collaboration. You give support and you matchkan these two people to work together and give them the freedom to work on the project, to make it happen. So you building the trust, right? And you provide a positive environment. Yang mana bila orang pergi tu suka nak datang kerja. Tak stress and so on. You're giving a freedom. You ask them what they can do to make it better from what they yesterday accomplishment, for example, and it makes sure that the people feel empowered and motivated. Meaning that dia kata dia boleh buat decision. You give them some power to make decision, right? And also a sense of ownership, meaning that whatever things that they do for the project, they have they feel automatically feel responsible to make sure that the project happen. Bukan dia buat je lah, bukan company aku pun nak jadi, tak jadi sudah. Tak. We want to create the ownership of the project, meaning that everybody are responsible towards the successfulness of the organization, for example. Okay, so you should give a power away, meaning that they're giving trust, all right, and they lead people. They what we call that, they build up, they develop people itself. Okay, they lead people to become a leader themselves. Bukannya you take credit. There are lots of cases, okay, the followers, the subordinates do all the hard work, tapi bila pergi dekat CEO ke, dia cakap dia yang buat, dia yang ni, I. Dia tak bawa pun dia punya team together to see the CEO, for example. When do the presentation, bawa ramai, okay, explain, and also for example introduce the all the teams, for example, the hard work people to the management. That is a good way if you introduce, because you work as a team, right? Don't take credit for yourself, right? And last but not least, a good practices of a good leaders, you encourage the heart, meaning that you encourage the heart is not only you gain respect, and then buat kerja, touch the mind, but you touch the heart. For example, you feel you've been appreciated, to make your staff feel appreciated, macam for family kind of environment. Okay, contoh, thank you note, it can be as simple as that. Okay, you appreciate their contribution, create a culture to recognize accomplishment. Alright, meaning that awak tunjuklah you are you know they've been working hard. Okay, give a small thing, for example, kind of appreciation. Bukan sahaja gaji tu memang wajib, but aside from that. Okay, So that is a best practices of exemplary leadership. Meaning that it's a good thing to do. Successful leadership normally practice these 5 things. And if you want to be a good leader as well, currently, sekarang ni, to be a good person, guna 5-5 ni. If you are a sister, you will lead your brothers and your younger brother and your younger sister. Use this 5 area, 5 best practices and so on. Right? Any questions so far? Amirul Hafiz, how are you doing, Amirul? Amirul ada ke tu? Amirul Hafiz, are you there? Semua tak ada ni, mana you all pergi Umaira Sukari ada? Saya dah panggil Umaira, the last week pun saya panggil juga dia. Umaira? Siti Umaira, how you doing, Siti? Semua tak ada ni, you all ni. Ke memang tak datang? Sekejap Kena saya panggil dekat sini Aiman Firdaus, how you doing, Aiman? Aiman?
Ya, madam.
Okay, how you doing?
Saya elok, betul.
Saya elok, okay. Okay. Terima kasihlah kerana elokkan diri. Alright, so do you have any question regarding these 5 best practices?
Saya rasa tak ada ke, Doctor?
Okay, so do you practice this best practices ni? Which group are you? Who's your team member? Actually, ni, Aiman?
Team member saya Abra.
Oh, okay. Abra lagi?
Abra Haris. Abra Haris Rafi dengan saya.
Oh, okay. Siapa ketua?
Ketua, saya ketua. Betul.
Betul lah tu saya panggil awak tu. Nama pun macam ketua. Okay, Aiman Firdaus. Alright. Okay, so Aiman, encourage the heart. Meaning that you appreciate. Hopefully Abra semua yang Haziq. Haziq ada tadi your team member ke?
Saya dengan Abra ke sebelah ni.
Oh, Abra kat sebelah Tadi saya lupa lagi 2 yang awak sebut tadi tu. Alright. Okay, so practice the 4 of you practice this best practices of the exemplary leadership. InsyaAllah berjaya dunia akhirat tu. Aiman Alright, okay, thank you very much. Okay, so leadership style. Okay, Aiman, can you read for me, for us, the leadership style here?
Okay. Many effective leaders have a collection of distinct leadership styles. A study of 3,871 executives worldwide by Daniel Goleman in 2000 suggests that the best leaders do not rely on one leadership style, but may use several different styles depending on the situation. The following 6 styles can be found in influence, performance, and result. The coercive style, the authoritative style, the affiliative style, the democratic style, the pace-setting style, and the coaching style.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Aiman. Alright, so this is the style yang just now tu dia punya best practices. Style meaning that it depends on the situation, which style should be used. A good leader will use variety of styles to approach a different situation. Alright, some style can be used, for example, in the morning, in the certain cases, you use coercive. Petang, chairing another session, alright, you might use democratic style. Okay, it depends. Okay, how it influence? Okay, we make sure that you have to know what are the differences of this style, the characteristic of this style, right? Like what I mentioned last 2 semester, we give you a situation, and then you have to determine what style is the most appropriate based on that situation. So in order to answer correctly, which most students got confused, okay, you should really know the characteristic of each style, right? So the first one, the cohesive style. Cohesive style meaning that you some kind of forcing. Okay, for example, it is like you use always when you required to use cohesive style, you normally say do as I say. Buat macam tu. Macam ada power. Do as I say, which it is can be effective in a crisis situation, right? When it is a crisis situation, for example, your organization, okay, got something very bad happen. For example, Mars tiba-tiba kena kapal terbang hilang. Okay, that was 10 years ago punya cerita, for example. Okay, and also there was a accident happened at your construction site, for example. That is a crisis also, right? So in a crisis situation, okay, which you need to deal with a problem of employee problems or trying to achieve immediate compliance, meaning that kena buat masa tu juga. Okay, so when there is a crisis, you have to step forward, make sure that everybody calm and say that you guys, we follow this, we do this, everybody listen to me. That is the situation. Okay, that is a cohesive style. It can be, but it can be ineffective in many other situation. Tapi bukan semua masa. Kalau tiba-tiba awak cakap masa meeting biasa pun tak ada apa-apa masalah, do as I say. Bosi betul dia ni. There are some things that it might not be effective in a certain situation, and it can give a negative impact, right? Okay, because you can abstract new ideas. You tak develop people. Asyik dengar dia cakap aja, for example. Asyik dengar bos dia cakap je. Dia cakap pun kadang dia pun tak faham. Right? Okay. So normally you want to control. This one is when a crisis, when you want to control, but it not effective in a situation other than crisis, for example. Okay. So this is why it is okay. People will lose initiative, lost motivation, commitment, and sense of ownership. Asyik ikut bos saja, right? So you will limit the sharing of idea. Okay, the next one, authoritative style. Authoritative style meaning that it more that okay, work together with me. Don't walk behind me. Walk with me, meaning that come with me. The leader outlines a clearly defined goal. Dia buatkan vision, mission, objective, and so on. But at the same time, that empowers people to choose their own means of achieving it. Okay, you make sure that everybody know what are the objective of the project, what kind of system that you want to produce, what are the characteristics of the system, the features, the functionality, and so on. And you let, after having a clear picture, what should be done, and you let your programmers, you let the system analysts, you let your requirements system, your program, your developers, database developers, to find their own best way to achieve their task, to make sure that it is moving towards what being expected. Tapi you let them choose method apa nak pakai, teknologi apa, you listen to their opinion and so on. Okay, normally authoritative leader provide a vision and enthusiasm. Dia semangat, dia provide vision. Pagi-pagi cakap, yeah, true. But provide what need to be done in this situation and so on. And also at the same time, you give them more freedom. Alright? So the authoritative style work best when the organization or project is adrift, meaning that memang tengah bergerak. Memang tengah semangat, everybody macam semangat, everybody are looking towards to work in the project. Right? That is the best style to use. Okay? Sometimes dalam minggu tu semangat, minggu depan tiba ada crisis. So it like what I mentioned, this style need to be mix and match. Right? But is not a good style for inexperienced leader who work with expert or more experienced team. Alright? Normally, sometimes they might be not inexperienced leader, tapi dia ada qualification banyak. Dia ada certification, dia ada the professional certificates and so on. But they work together with people who are much more older, tapi qualification is a bit lower. Tapi they are really experienced with people. So if that the case, if your team member consists of this kind of project, team, okay, maybe the authoritative style might not be suitable. Sebab awak nak inspired to give vision. Tapi you are very young. Very young. Dia tengok awak pun boleh percaya ke tak ni? Okay, so kena work together lah. Kita tengok the other style that might be suitable for this kind of team members, right? Okay. So another style will be affiliative style, meaning that affiliative ni, it says that people come first. During this stage, okay, a good effective leaders, they normally when they want to build a strong emotional bonds that translate into strong loyalty by attempting to keep people happy and creating harmony among them. Okay, this can be true, can be effectively used when you are all totally new. You never know each other. Okay, you never know each other. You are a new. You are maybe experienced people in the organization, but you've been work together. The new team consists of the team consists of new member from others. Yang mana awak pun tak pernah kenal dan sebagainya. For at that stage, the early stage, you want to develop their belonging first. Break the ice. You want to build a strong emotional bond first. Translate into strong loyalty, meaning that you want to you do the ice breaking week, for example. Okay, so meaning that you want people to talk to each other, share ideas, inspiration, and be able to take risks. Share dalam minggu tu buatlah. Okay, communicate, buat team building, more on sharing, more on be able to discuss, to get a common way of among each other, something like that. Okay, the leader does not impose unnecessary rule and structure to define the work. Okay, dia apa-apa rules and structure yang tak perlu jangan impose lagi during that time. Okay, works well in situation where the leader must build team harmony, morale, trust or communication during the early stage of the project. Nak build dulu. Make sure that everybody are moving, people are look at each other, positively look at each other, okay, have a positive, meaning that have a positive perception with each other. You want to create that, okay? But does not work well when people need some structure or direction. Okay, it's not work well because if people they already know, Tapi sekarang ni dia nak work dah. Dia nak vision. What we want to accomplish. Kalau dah pun already tahu among each other nak be working, use the other. Macam tadilah, pakai it can be a coercive ataupun you can use a authoritative. Might not be affiliative for that situation, might not work well in that kind of group. Okay, so the last two, right? Democratic style. Democratic style, you always say things that, what do you think? Okay, what do you think? The leaders try to get other ideas while building trust, respect, and commitment. Okay, this one, it works good. It works good when the leader itself is new. Leader itself is new, and you are working with people, with well-experienced people. Your team member consists of well-experienced people. You yourself is new. Kalau macam ni, awak kena guna democratic style. You respect your team. You know they are very well versed in that project. They've been working the similar project before, right? And when you have a meeting, okay, you always listen. You always listen to them and get their idea, and together make the decision, for example. Right? So this one, people have a greater say in decision. Okay, so people have freely to share experience, to share what they think in the decision making. So if you use this, morale tends to be higher and you can get a more realistic idea. Okay, ini macam saya cakap tadi, mungkin affiliative tak sesuai tapi kena guna democratic. If you are new but your staff is well experienced, right? Work best when leader needs to buy in, consensus, or to get valuable input from others. However, of course, it's not appropriate in a crisis, or your team itself tak competence, okay, or no experience. You are the most experienced, but your team are fresh graduates. Normally, awak tak perlu sangatlah tanya apa pendapat dia, because they are the one who they got the energy, maybe they lack of experience. So you need to mentor them, right? So for that kind of group, maybe use the other style, not a democratic style. And last one, right? Last one is the pace setting style. This one, do as I do now. Ini selalunya the late Steve Jobs buat. Okay. Kalau siapa ada masa nak tengok, maybe some of you already watched the Steve Jobs movie, right? Leaders, you can see throughout the movie how it set high performance standard and has an obsession for doing things better and faster. Dia sendiri bagus dalam area tu, right? Dia set high performance. He or she is very smart, okay, and he good in managing things, and they have obsessed towards perfectionist. She is also a perfectionist, for example, okay, for doing things better and faster. And poor performer are quickly identified and replaced. Siapa tak perform je, got sacked. Buat benda lain. Okay, we want a faster. Maybe if you said that you want to learn first and so on, you join other leader, right? But this one, morale can deteriorate if people feel overwhelmed by the pace. Okay, sometimes who cannot keep up with the pace. Okay, macam cepat sangat, banyaknya kerja, so fast and so on, until you got confused. Okay, normally it can affect in a negative way, right? Okay, goal may be clear to the leader sometimes, but not to everyone. Okay, this is always happen. Sometimes when your leader as a high achiever themselves, Okay, dating fast, sometimes they forget to tell others what they think. They expect you can read their mind. Kadang-kadang tak cakap pun, bila masa ni dia marah-marah, bila masa dia bagi tahu nak kena buat macam ni. Sometimes, betul, when you have this problem, dia cakap pula, okay, make sense lah, fikir. Always like that, kalau familiar lah with that ayat, alright. So, this one goes maybe clear to the leader, but maybe not to everyone else. So, this style might not be suitable if you have team member who are new, okay, who are new, who are still learning, who are fresh graduate, and so on. And people may lose energy and enthusiasm if the work become task focused, routine, and boring. Sometimes dia memang high achiever, dia nak cepat, dia bagi awak kerja, pop, siapkan petang ni juga. Sometimes it's too task oriented, it can be that, right? So it will be appropriate if the team itself is highly motivated, very expert in their way, they are highly motivated, they are self-directed, they are experienced, they know what to do, and they are competent. Alright, meaning that a selected group yang macam tu, right? So this one, if you have that, you can use a pace setting style. Do as I do now. Dia nak cepat. Itu beza dengan yang first tadi tu. Do as I do masa crisis. Do stick. Alright, okay. The number 6 style is a coaching style. Coaching style meaning that the name itself, you coach them. You do it together. Right? You do it, they follow. Right? Attitude, for example, it says that try this. Okay? Try this. The leader helps people identify their unique strengths and weaknesses. Maknanya you give them space to learn. Okay? Try and error. They always say the first time you fail might not be a failure to the rest of the project. Okay? So this one is like you coach, you provide, okay, it's good at delegating and give people challenging but attainable assignment. Awak bagi dia task-task yang mana sesuai. You want to see how they perform. Okay, this is good if the task is not urgent. Okay, it is throughout the process. You are more focusing on the process of developing people, right? So normally, this one is more acceptable and viewed as positive learning experience, meaning that you as a mentor, you want to develop your mentee, for example. Okay, mentor-mentee session. If you in your ITM, for the lecturer itself, we have a mentor-mentee kind of style here, right? This style may be the least often used, paling kurang, selalunya dekat sekolah je. Ataupun benda yang tak urgent, benda yang little bit informal, for example, mentor-mentee ni kan. Okay, but it can be valuable and powerful tool for improving performance and long-term. It's more on the long-term developments of your people. Alright? But it works well in many situations, but most effective when people are willing to be coached. The people itself willing to follow. Alright, the one that you want to coach. Kadang-kadang, even though sometimes, for example, like I mentioned just now, we have the lecturer itself. We have a mentor-mentee session, which the experienced lecturer will guide the new lecturer in writing, in publication, in learning, in teaching and learning. They join the class, for example, right? And others. Okay, but it works well when the people itself, the young lecturers, for example, are willing to be coached. Kalau dia pun macam malas je, tak nak, reluctant, they want to learn their own way, for example, it might not be an effective style of coaching. Alright. So any questions so far? Azni, Aiza, any question, Azni?
Tak ada, madam.
Okay, very direct. Baca, bila saya tulis baca ni, the rest of you, you can read the textbook as well. Terus, boleh baca side by side. Right? What is the meaning and so on. And okay, even though you are using a best practices and also you are referring to the 6 style of leadership, like what I mentioned, okay, your attitude are normally being influenced because we are people. Okay, our mood swing, we have our own mood swing. Takkanlah macam robot buat sama je setiap masa kan. Your mood also change. It depends on how tired you are. Sometimes pagi okay, petang dah separuh mati dah kerja. Penat, orang cakap pun apa dia. The tone is different. Right? So how you manage this? Okay, how you change from one emotion to another emotion that been influenced by emotional intelligence, EQ. We have IQ, thinking. Now we also have EQ, emotional intelligence ni ya. Ada juga assessment, you can assess. IQ sometimes kita boleh assess kan. EQ also you can take the assessment, how stable your emotional is, actually your emotion are actually. Okay, so suggest leaders who have mastered all those style have the best climax, have an highest performance. Okay, a good leader, they be able to be flexible, to switch among leader style as needed. Right. For example, you might have in your team, for example, you lead about 20 team members in your departments. You are the head of departments. Okay. So for this 20 people, they should be a well-experienced, medium age of people and also young. So when you talk, maybe in the same room, when you talk, the way you talk to the well-experienced senior in the project will be different. But when you talk to your young people, will be different. You can change that in seconds. Sometimes the tone, your project, how you look at them, your body, what we call that, body language will be different. Okay, so that is how your ability to understand and manage your relationship and manage your emotional affect your ability to manage your relationship and yourself better. Okay, sebenarnya ini bukan manager je, of course, you yourself, we as a humans, we should be able to master this emotional intelligence. Be calm, jangan cepat koyak. All those things jangan cepat koyak, jangan cepat touching tak terasa all those things, tak mau. Okay, so how to do it, you have to learn how to control yourself. You can listen to the people who develop people, emotional expert. Okay, you can listen to Ustad, you can listen to the doctors, how they say it and so on. You learn from all the good tips. Okay, yang selalu panabaran semua tu, kena belajar lah ni, emotional, how to manage your emotion. Okay, so improving one emotion takes time. It become a habit. Takes time, patience, and a great deal of effort. You know you have the weaknesses. Okay, you have mood swing, for example, you admit you have weaknesses. Okay, you should be able to put down your ego and so on and try to improve. Learn, masuk kelas, for example, learn how to manage emotion. Tu kena ada lah tu. Right? Okay, so in order to have emotional intelligence, how to manage yourself, you should be able to do these 4 things. You to be able to have a self-awareness, tahu kelemahan diri, be able to know what are your strengths, what are your weaknesses, will be able to manage based on that strength and weaknesses, and be able to apply that to social, to people outside yourself, all right, people around you, and align with how to manage your relationship with all these people, the social skills and so on. Okay, so what is the self-awareness? Those 4 things. This is the slides followed talking about your the how to do it. Okay, how to do the self-awareness. Okay, so far how Mardia, how are you doing, Mardia? Mardia Mardati. Sedap nama Mardia Mardati.
Dia tanya
Okay, Mardia, where are you now?
dekat rumah.
Kat rumah. Rumah kat mana tu, Mardia?
Rumah dekat Shah Alam je.
Okay, nasib baik kat Shah Alam je kan. Sebab kena ada berada di ni kan. Okay. Alright, okay. Bila-bila ada kelas, datang kelas kan Mardia
Datang.
Okay, hari Jumaat ni kita ada kelas fizikal beramai-ramai. Kita berjumpa dalam satu tempat. Okay, so because most of you group C ni kebanyakannya memang saya tak pernah jumpa pun lah face to face. Last time for those during the webinar Dr. Tim nanti hari Jumaat ni, I take the committees from group A, right? Mostly from group A. Bila saya jumpa tu, inilah dia student-student saya, right? So we meet later nanti hari Jumaat, all of you actually. Okay, so no question, Mardia.
Takat ni tak ada lagi, madam.
Alright, okay, thank you. So basically for the emotional intelligence, okay, use self-aware, meaning that you read and understand your emotion. You yourself know your, like what I mentioned, strength and weaknesses. You will be able to evaluate, accurate know yourself, where you should put yourself. Tahu to assess, selalu mengaku kelemahan diri, okay, and always want to improve. That is what, okay, and you are self-confident based on your strength. You confident about your strength. You know your weaknesses and you willing to become better, right? And having a strong and positive sense of self-worth, okay. Semalam ni just want to share with you guys. Okay, semalam saya ada jumpa parents, kan? Parents ramai, banyak, penat cakap sebenarnya. Okay, parents banyak cakap and then saya yang banyak cakap, parents banyak tanya. Okay, what they ask, most of the parents, they ask, senang tak nak lulus? Ini subjek yang mana ni? Senang tak diploma ni? Mana satu yang senang? Soalan tu macam saya kata, student saya selalu tanya soalan ni. Okay, tak apalah, saya selalu terima this kind of question. What I said to them is that, okay, the bottom line is, we want students who willing to learn, who willing to become better, who are hardworking. Kita biar tak pandai, tapi rajin. Okay. Daripada masuk pandai, memang pelajar yang pandai, sebab all of you are qualified. As long as whoever yang be accepted to the program, of course you are qualified. But your level of intelligence, your capability of learning will be different. So, ada yang 10A, ada yang masuk 3A, still qualified. But people, even though you are not tak berapa pandai, tapi if you are willing to learn, hardworking, awak akan jadi pandai. Tapi kalau orang yang pandai, pemalas, akan jadi akan lama-lama jadi tak pandai. Itu yang saya cakap tu lah pada dia. Okay, what we want is people who are willing to work and people who are willing to learn. That's why I appreciate the students who want to ask question, datang, jumpa, doktor betul ke tak soalan ni. I normally, even though I know that I'm so busy, I'm a bit busy lah, especially today, currently with my position here. Okay, if student ask question, okay, I try my best to answer as soon as possible. Right? If students want to come and see me, I appreciate the effort, because not all students want willing to see the lecturers, especially for those who are ODL dan sebagainya kan, waktu-waktu sekarang ni. Okay, yang mana banyak di rumah, banyak di college and so on. But when you want to come, and it shows there how your willingness to learn and so on. Okay, so we want this. Okay, you should be able, you always want to improve yourself, right? But second one, when you know where are you know your strength, you know your weaknesses, okay, you know how to improve, you should be able to manage. Okay, you should be able to manage, you control yourself. If sebelum ni always sentap aja, kawan cakap sikit merajuk, kawan cakap sikit dan mengamuk, alright? Sekarang ni slowly you adapt. Sabar, nak marah tak boleh, sabar. Okay, all those kind of things, right? So you be able to control yourself, and you honest and integrity. I need this. This one is I need this kind of characteristic in all of you, especially when we talk about non-face-to-face assessment. If we said that no discussion, you can only refer to the material that you have in class, for example. The honesty and integrity should be there. Alright, you as an academic as well, okay, need to have a high trustworthiness punya management. Okay, conscientiousness, okay, managing and be responsible, and you be able to adapt. You know you are nak cakap adapt ni maknanya pandai bawa diri. You be able to adapt in many situation. Dengan orang tua pandai nak cakap macam mana, dengan budak-budak pandai, dengan your clique pandai, your peers, you know how to talk to people based on their language. Kanak-kanak ni macam excited, dia kena cakap excited. Kalau orang tua banyak anggur, slow sikit. Dengan kawan-kawan sama pace, cakap serentak semua orang. Alright, macam saya cakap serentak semua orang, semua excited nak bercakap. Alright, so achieve orientation, okay, meaning that you know you manage yourself and you are moving towards the high standard excellence of the group itself, and you should be able to initiate new things. You encourage people, you open your mind, accept what we call that, accept ideas from others. You appreciate what people said. Alright, meaning that seizing new opportunity. Bukan buat sendiri je, fikir sendiri, pandai je. Alright, listen to others and encourage ideas, new ideas, and appreciate what are people, all those opinion sharing and so on. Okay, and also social awareness. Now you manage yourself, and now you apply that to outside people. You feel empathy. Empathy and sympathy is different. Simpati, kesiannya kau, macam tu. Empathy, kesiannya kau, what can I do to help you? There some extensions of that. Empathy, you try to put yourself in that people position. Try to understand if you were there. Alright. So this one is important for the project manager. Project manager, when you are dealing with people have many problems in their life. Okay, so people who are genuine dengan problem diorang, okay, you try to be empathy and support. Okay, organizational awareness, okay, meaning that you know about yourself, how to be good, and try to make sure that whatever you do also reflect the positivity of yourself. Okay, building networks, everyday organization life, how to communicate with people, how you influence, how you work with other teams. Okay, all those things, you aware with people around you. Service orientation, and should be able to recognize and meeting customer needs. You appreciate customer is not always right. helps them to be right. Right? Okay, kalau dulu customer is always right. No, customer is not always right. Okay, you make them, teach them how to act in a right way, for example. Okay, itulah. And also social skills. Okay, last, this is the social skill that are when you are dealing with the other people. You need to be visionary leadership, be able to influence, be able to develop. Okay, you see that some people have their own capability. Orang-orang yang bagus ni, develop that. Right? Not everybody lah can do it. Actually, not everybody is good. Not everybody can do it. Everybody have their own pace of learning. So you be able to develop others based on their capability. Communication, you be able to change catalyst, meaning that you are the one who initiate and helps them to make changes. You be able to manage any conflict. Alright, bila people disagree and so on, you have been able to become centered. Okay, to become to how to manage these two groups, for example, and be able to building bonding and also facilitate teamwork and collaboration. Right? So basically emotional intelligence is what, okay, normally it requires 360 feedback from your peers, subordinate and superior. It's not easy to be done, of course. We are people, cannot be perfect in any way. Okay, asyik dengar masalah orang aja, for example, asyik try to become good to others. Sometimes you also feel exhausted, right? But it is emotional intelligence is about how you improve yourself, okay, from time to time, right? And appreciate how people, if people critique you, try to improve. That is what is the EQ is about. Right. Then ethics and leadership. Okay, ethics can be defined as a set of moral and principle and value, which normally come by with culture also. Okay, ethics is a etika. How the bottom line, etika as a Muslim, etika as a student, etika as a leaders, etika as a family members, all those things, right? And normally etika can be shaped by your culture itself. And you as a project manager, you should be responsible to create, maintain or change the culture of the organisation. Kalau sebelum ni culture macam pemalas saja semua kan. Alright, now you're responsible to change. Make sure that everybody feel ownership. Everybody feel accountable for in the project. How to change that? So project manager should be able to know how to manage. Okay. So basically, ethics versus legality. People can be unethical situation, but it is legal. It is legal, but it is unethical. Sometimes situation do not always clear. Apa contoh dia?
Okay, madam.
Khairil Harith. Can you think about situation that is unethical tapi illegal?
Maybe salah faham dalam company ke about anything saham ke apa ke, I think.
Okey, subjektif juga tu Khairil tu. Contoh yang senang Contoh senang, judi. Judi kat Genting tu. Dia legal, right? Ada apa tu, what we call that, sijil perniagaan what they call it, they be registered, they have a sigil, they can be they can run the business. But judi in any religion, okay, any group, any culture is actually unethical. China pun sebenarnya dia tak suka judi. Okay, tapi kalau nak happy agaknya lah boleh. Tapi to them it is unethical, but it's legal. It is unethical and legal unethical and illegal. Macam ni. Senang lah, jual dadah je lah.
Minit.
Okay, ethical, illegal pun. Dia ethical but dia legal. Selalunya clear. Contoh, datang pagi waktu kerja sebelum office start. Dia memang ethical, itulah yang you kena buat. Of course legal, kena masuk office. Masuk. Okay. Ethical, unethical, dia
Last shot.
but dia illegal. Apa dia? Dia ethical but dia illegal. Ni bahaya juga ni.
84.
Not always clear. Contoh, ada awak selamatkan orang. Sekarang ni kes-kes for example what we call that abusive children yang being abused, okay, parents, okay, yang divorce parents and so on, okay, mak dia ambil budak tu tapi the parents, the kids can stay with the court order. The kid should be living with the father. Tapi father tu macam garang sikit dan sebagainya. Okay. So, mak ni as a parents, tapi dia been divorced, tapi they are the one who are very good with the kids lah. Dia pun pergi ambil anak dia. It is ethical sebab kesian budak tu nangis duduk dengan ayah kan, tapi it is illegal. Alright, in a court, it is clear it is wrong to be done. But for the human parts, from the humanity, it may be a right way of doing. That's why it is not always clear. Okay, there are grey lines in between, right? So as a manager,
Nice.
in a formal organization, you should know the differences between this. Alright, so ethical leadership through socialization, they brought through training, can be through formal, how to make sure that everybody know what are their responsibility in terms of ethical. Alright, it can be through formal, you can give training, you can give a seminar, you can give a briefing to them and so on, right? And these are all the example of unethical leadership. Alright, a few example. For example, AI Sean Dunlop, okay, a successful leaders but was known for emotionally abusing employees. Ni banyak ni case-case yang we read through banyak kan dekat media and so on. There are true cases also in India, okay, been using small kids as their cheap labor. In China, it happened as well. All those kind of things. Okay, that is an example of unethical leadership. You can read through. Okay, hypocritical leadership.
We got the spot 8.
Right, in terms of this one, meaning that this is the worst type of leader. Sebenarnya this is a worst type of kind of people. Orang yang hypocrite. Dia cakap lain, dia buat lain. Okay. The worst type of leader because she extols the virtue of integrity and ethical conduct. Kalau bercakap tu berapi-rapi, kita mesti tiada rasuah, for example, all those kind of things. But at the bottom lines tu, behind, they are the one who are encouraged of all this any wrongdoing, for example. Right? You can read through the example here. Ethical natural leadership. Okay, this one you also do not know. Ini okay ke tak okay sebenarnya. For example, the situation when there are ethical natural leadership. For example, you some people, okay, the announcement of the audit. The announcement of the auditor saying that there will be a misbehave of managing resources in the organisation. Then CEO dia boleh dapat report ni, dah masuk media and so on. The CEO make announcement. Actually kita denikan. Okay, denikan this one. Maybe we want further investigation and we actually been practiced ethical operation throughout our business, for example. Okay, dan kita sedia bekerjasama if there is anything that we can help to bekerjasama with the police, with the SPRM and so on. Okay, so people got confused. People may know the leader ethical benefit, they might be not a strong or weak ethical, but does not provide clear ethical guidance. Betul ke
We got
tidak?
two
Yelah,
flashes.
kalau
Careful.
auditor memang betul lah. Right. Tapi dia nafikan, dia berani buat, berani nafi and so on. So that is more ethically neutral leadership. Okay.
Market.
So only only people who knows will know the truth, for example. Ethical leadership is easy. Okay, ethical leadership is easy. Okay, it's obvious. They can straight away know and practice that. Okay, and some common ethical dilemma, human resource situation. For example, it is responsible of project leaders to create project environment where people feel safe and appreciated. Okay, there is no issue like discrimination, privacy, sexual harassment, ataupun keyboard cyberbully, cyber harassment, and any kind of things. Okay, so there are, but in an organization there are many human resource situations that happen. Sometimes is some of the ethical conflict of interest. Okay, conflict interest. For example, you as a vendor, okay, you have a vendor, few vendor, who are in the process of completing their project to get approval from you. Tiba-tiba masa raya, dia kata nak bagi je satu hamper. Tapi hamper ni nak bagi je, dia kata tak ada apa-apa. No. There is no to influence you in making decision or so on. It's just an appreciation of during festive season, for example. That is a conflict of interest. Alright. In some organization, what they do is they provide, they said that yes, baru-baru ni lah MDEC kan contoh. Okay, they make decision that you can accept the contoh hamper and so on, provided that kena buka dan makan ramai-ramai in the team. Bukan seorang saja yang make decision tu yang terima the whole gift, for example. Alright, to be on the safe side, normally what the manager is doing, dia makan masa tu je, tak ada siapa pun bawa balik. Alright, so that is one way of to reduce to reduce the risk of conflict of interest like this, right? And confidence and sense of confidence with the strong issues like confidentiality, PNC, private and confidential regarding the data, product safety or reliability, trust in advertising. Ini selalu ni, jangan berlebih-lebihan. You claim moon and bulan dan bintang, pelik pula start ini. Truth, you give the truth in advertising. Okay, regarding the product safety or reliability, you responsible. You play make sure that the integrity of the product should be maintained. And also PNC, don't share your friends' numbers with the others. Don't share your contact numbers with the others. For example, me as a lecturer SO, don't share the students' contact with the vendor, with the people from, for example, investment company. Tak boleh lah macam tu. Example, right? And corporate resources. Okay, this one is more on you use other resources. So, for example, as simple as you use stationery, email, address, computer during lunch hour, masa kerja lah especially lagi lah, okay, masa kerja pergi tengok drama, itu tak mau kan. That one is you misuse the internet connection, the resources given to you by the company, right? Okay, how to make the sound ethical decision. Okay, first of all, you as a manager, you don't just listen to one side. Gather the fact. Get two sides of story. Alright, for example, people have complained, people file a complaint regarding the other members of the project, for example. Okay, you listen to them, gather the fact, call them for interview if it is a face-to-face session, if it is necessary. And you identify based on fact whether there is a truth, the ethical issue arise, what kind of ethical issue arise. And you identify how it will affect the project and also the other stakeholders, right? And identify the consequences, what will happen if this really happen, and if you want to make decision, for example, to sack that people who have a low morality and so on, how it affect the project. Okay, you identify the consequences and identify the obligation. You know the consequences, and you identify whether this is the right way of doing things. Betul ke decision awak nak buang orang? Okay, talk to the others. Okay, make some collective decision making, for example. And last but not least, you consider your character and integrity. You know what is your obligation as a project manager. You know what need to be done, and you consider how you put yourself as a leader. Is that do a sound decision making, meaning that based on facts, not be influenced by people, not be influenced by your emotion, for example. Okay, based on your job scope, your integrity and your responsibility towards the project and towards the organization. What are the decision that you need to do? Okay, if there is any ethical decision. Okay, right. Okay. Second last area. Okay, about the work group and real work team and high performance team. Okay, this is about the people itself. Sekejap, saya dah tak nak delete ni semua. Alright, work groups. Okay, just give me another 5 minutes. Work groups, it is more informal. Okay, you learn about this project communication in chapter 8, right? So you learn about informal and formal communication. Work groups involve informal, right? For example, you in a department, you have your own clique. Clique tu yang you share your best friend. Okay, there are maybe 3 of you. Okay, best friend. You share information, best practices or ideas. Selalu kalau nak explain, kalau nak minta pendapat, orang ni lah yang awak jumpa in the department. Masa makan, cakap pasal ni, tanya pendapat dia, for example. Not in a meeting. Normally this one work groups is some informal discussion. They don't have shared performance goals, no joint products, no mutual accountability. It's just that you want to share opinion, to get other view and so on. So there is not a formal communication. That is a work group. But the real team is your team now. Your team in a project. Okay, normally small number of people. You've been selected in a team because of your skill, not because of your interest, not because of your maybe attitude, tapi more on the skills. Okay, and you are required to do some tasks. You as a programmer, benda ni yang awak kena buat. You have got a list of things to be done, and everybody in a team have common goals. And you use the same approach. For example, if there is a meeting every day, morning, before you start working, so you use this approach. Okay, among yourself, for example. Tak boleh tukar tiba-tiba je, tak nak lah, saya tak ada mood pagi ni nak meeting. Siap lah. Okay, tak boleh. Okay, it's not you, it's a team. and hold themselves accountable, meaning that if there is something wrong with the project, everybody should be taken responsibility, right? Right? So that is a real team. So normally it is based on performance challenge. Okay, the team basic are often overlooked. Okay, basic, tapi in order to have a good team, we need to have a common need to have a ice breaking dulu tu. Tu yang kena ada tu. Right? But how sometimes most organization tend to prefer individual accountability rather than team accountability. They have some preference of certain people in a project, for example. Okay, this is maybe it might happen actually. Okay. Okay, so basically as a real team, right? Strong performer goals tend to spawn more real teams. Okay, kita kena ada performance goal. Okay, semua orang ada their own KPI. Then when you have a KPI, then only you can move your team. Okay, but high performance team are rare, only specific, because we have I keep telling yourself, you guys, okay, people have a different pace of learning, pace of adaptability to the project and so on. So it might be it might be rare. Okay, contoh yang high performance, certain bola sepak, certain team yang memang German strong, itu high performance teams. Okay, dia punya tu outclass sikit. They have a special characteristic. Okay, how they perform is different. The personality, the skills are.
But for you.
All the players are.
Oh, okay, never mind.
High performance players, for example. Right? Real team provide the basis of performance, and normally team we are integrated. We help each other. Integrated performance and learning. Okay, we complement each other actually. Any questions so far? Fatin Izzati, any question, Fatin? Fatin Izzati, Penti Muhammad Sazali. How are you doing, Fatin? We are moving towards the end, eh? Are you still with me? Fatin Izzati, are you still with me, Fatin? Kita dah pergi makan dah, Fatin.
100 on Brim.
Alright, Fatin tak ada eh? Okay. Kirim salam kat Fatin eh. Team member of Fatin. Alright, the rest. Okay, Dayang Nur Hidayah. Do you have any question, Dayang? You all ni semua tak ada ni. Dayang Nur Hidayah. Semua tak ada ni ha. Okay. Anis Farhana. Are you there, Anis? Nak saya panggil lah. Anis Farhana ada ke ni? Ada. Anis Farhana.
Doktor.
Okay. Last. Nasib baik Anis menjawab ke? Saya baru nak cakap komputer saya ada masalah. Okay. Anis Farhana, do you have any questions?
Mana question, Doktor?
Tak ada. Anis Farhana, from which group, Anis? CS berapa?
S266.
266, 5A ya? Okay, alright. Thank you for answering my apa tu? Ni lah for give feedbacks. Alright. Okay, multicultural project. Okay, so we might have, if the project is within your departments, among yourself, in the same organization, they should not be, it's still a challenge, especially project which involve a matrix hybrid project. But this is when we talk about multicultural project. Okay, project will involve different races, okay, and different races and a different country and so on, okay. So if we wish involve a diversity of their workforce, it might be challenging because they have a different culture, they have a different way of seeing things, different kind of give feedback and so on. Kalau kerja dengan Melayu ni lambat sikit dia jawab. Okay, malu-malu nak cakap pun okay, dalam meeting for example. But they are hardworking.
Receiving.
They are reliable, they are honest. Tapi maybe if you are work with other international person, they are very outspoken, they talk a lot, but delivery, when it comes to delivery, the task is so on, they are a bit unresponsive, for example, right? So it might happen then as a project manager, when you involve all this international project, so you need to really learn to play role in using a different kind of emotional intelligence and different kind of leadership style that we have. I have explained just now. So basically, if we are talking about the challenges of international project, because it involves a different location,
Yes.
different currency exchange, law and regulation also different, right? How you tax, kan, bayar tax dan sebagainya. The instability of the political instability, the attitude toward work and time. Okay, kalau di Japan, right on time is late, consider late. Right on time is considered late in Japan. But in Malaysia, half hours late is still okay. That will be different. How we define. Kita tak nak lah macam tu. At least kena right on time. Tapi ni kalau meeting pukul 9 awak datang dekat Japan, dia tengok kecil besar jawab, for example, right? You need to come earlier than what been set, the meeting time that been set, for example. So they have a different religion, they have a different language,
Taking the
then
TV.
how they adapt with the foods. When you have a meeting, you have to be aware of the food, what kind of food that you serve them and so on. The sensitivity should be there, right? And in understanding and managing diversity, this is the diversity wheel. Sorry, like just a minute here. Okay, so there will be an organizational dimension that you have to understand. Okay, related to the work, division, seniority, work location, and so on. And there are also external dimension. Okay, external dimension tu dekat dalam outside the organization. Okay, which marital status, geographic location, parental status, yang tak ada kena-mengena sangat dengan diri tapi still affect the way you behave, the way you look, your perspective in terms of working and so on. Your level of income also can be factors of the adaptability of the pace of learning, personal habits, recreation, and so on. And also last but not least, internal dimension related to the age. People who be older should be wiser.
Behind the
I
bus.
hope. Race, how you view, how you working with Chinese is different when you working with Indian, when you working with Bumi, the other side, okay, the Bumiputra, for example, from our Sarawakian, okay, Sarawak and Sabah, diorang memang baik. Okay, saya pergi kan, baik je, lembut je semua. Okay, and gender, sexual orientation, physical ability are all different. These organizational dimensions, external dimension, internal dimension, these three dimensions can affect how people behave. So you as a project manager, aside from the best practices just now, aside from the leadership style, aside from the ethical view you should be able to understand also the diversity will of your team members. And then only you can blend it all together to
Wait.
emotionally intelligent, use your emotional intelligence to manage toward the successfulness of the project. Right. Okay, that's all about chapter 10. So any question? Please give me some feedback that I'm not talking to myself today. Any questions?
No questions, madam.
Right, semuanya lemah je hari ni kepenatan you all semua.
Fine,
Alright,
Siti.
okay, thank you very much for your attendance. Okay, please don't forget to mark your attendance to register yourself at YouFuture. Alright, see you guys again. Okay, bye. Assalamualaikum.
Doktor,
Yes.
dekat YouFuture tak ada attendance somehow.
Oh ya Allah, saya lupa. Astagfirullahalazim. Ya Allah, itu aku. Betul. Okay, boleh saya set kejap lagi and then you markkan boleh? Allahu Akbar, lupa.
Boleh doktor.
Boleh doktor.
Nanti saya setkan daripada, sebab this is my mistake, saya setkan sekejap lagi sebab saya nak kena jumpa ni from 12:30 to 4 o'clock saya setkan. Nanti you all buatkan mark your attendance tu. Okay, lupa.
Alright doktor, thank you.
Okay, thank you Azib. Thank you others. Okay, bye. See you guys.
Thank you doktor.
Thank you,
Have a nice day.
doktor.
Terima kasih, doktor.
Yeah, okay, bye. Assalamualaikum.
Salam.
Alright.
Help Cypher get a gun. Oh my goodness. Very slow, very slow. Back for one. GG. Sorry, Diana. Orang-orang